welcome to OSG Live, where we inspire you to fall in love with your business. Get set to join your hosts, Tanya, Becky, Kylene, and Aaron for your weekly motivation. It's time to share your wins, express gratitude, and choose positive changes. Jump into the comments and share your thoughts with the rest of the OSG community. Coming up, OSG Wellness Super Tools to nourish your mind and body, small business success gems to uncover hidden gems of business excellence, and the uncommon mindset to challenge the status quo. Your journey to success and happiness starts now.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. This week has gone really fast. My name is Tanya Deutscher. I'm with Gracie B. Doodle Designs, and I'm here to help you choose what works for you in your life.
Awesome. And I'm Kylene Montgomery with Rise, Shine, Smile.
I'm Did we catch that?
Tanya's knocking things over. I'm Becky Kutzer with BK Custom Tees.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group. And yes, we are here to inspire you to love your business, make good choices, right? Pick and choose, and really excited for today, you guys. And but as always, Kylene, where do we like to launch from here?
Okay, we're going to bring some positive vibes. So we're going to start with gratitude today, because when we're in our state of gratitude, we're in a state of abundance, and we're going to start attracting even more good things to us and raise our vibration and give more positive vibes out there, I guess, for lack of better words right now. And so we want to start our show today with more positivity, more energy. So we're going to start with gratitude today. So today, I can share my gratitude. Today, I am grateful for our son. He's just really maturing and stepping up, and sometimes having some hard conversations and handling it really well. So I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm grateful for him.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I am grateful that even though I was off yesterday for a procedure, I'm moving forward. I got some things done that are going to move me forward to some of my stretch goals. And I apologize. Apparently, Asia making noise at the beginning of every show is going to be a thing. Jeez.
There we go. Perfect. She wants to be part of the show too.
Well, this morning I am extremely grateful for friends that are willing to post and say, I think Becky can do that. So I had somebody last night, as somebody else, another conversation was happening, and tagged me and just said, I think Becky can do that. So that was great to see, and have friends that'll do that. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, Becky can do that. So there we go. I love it. Well, excellent. And you guys, we want to hear from you guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in live here this morning and getting your Wednesday morning off to an amazing start here with us on OSG Live. So we want to hear your gratitude. And but good morning to Darren. He was checking in nice and early for us this morning. Chuck, we were a little nervous, Chuck, because we were like, can we start yet? Chuck's not here. So we always appreciate you very much, Chuck, for being so consistent, and we appreciate you very much. And then Michelle, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. So I know I'm not trying to get out of sharing my gratitude here too. I'm extremely grateful for all of the good times that so Kylene brought up Lewis. I had Lewis last night. He and I are kind of in a volleyball extravaganza right now. So we were supposed to be practicing, so he's going to actually come on a travel tournament with my older team because we're short a player, so he's going to come fill in. So he's going to be practicing with my team tonight. We had his team's practice last night, and I took over coaching because his coach was in the hospital, and then I'm going to coach his team again tomorrow night. And so yeah, it's every night, and it's like 8:30 to 10. So if I'm looking a little droopy, I apologize, but but no, I'm just super grateful because we get the drive there. We get to, it's just really good father-son time, and that just means the world to me. So I'm grateful for that opportunity.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I kind of cut off because I got distracted by a shiny object, and that shiny object was Barb saying good morning to everybody from North Central Minnesota. So yeah, you guys that are tuned in, please let us know what your gratitude is. And again, the more we share our gratitude, again, I love being the last one because I go, yep, right. And so here we go. Darren says, I am grateful now that the cold snap seems to be over and they're going to fix my heater today. Well, that's a fantastic thing.
You'll be ready for the next time.
That's right. There you go. I love that. Perfect, Tanya. Michelle says, today I'm grateful for hot tub, relaxation, and help with sore muscles. Oh, man, I could use a hot tub. Kylene?
I miss my hot tub.
Sounds wonderful.
I don't miss mine. I'm the total opposite of everybody.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's
I don't
good.
mind them once in a while, but it was just not something that we used enough to constitute saying we need it. So
Yeah. And I imagine you didn't have to care for it, and there's costs
Exactly.
involved with that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have it anymore.
nobody wanted to do that part.
Yeah. Makes sense. I don't know. I think I would probably do it the way I feel this morning. Being a volleyball coach is always great, obviously, but I don't warm up like the kids do, and I should. They're warming up. I should just warm up too. But then, we get out there, I'm coaching, and then all of a sudden I have to show them something, or I'm hitting a ball at them, and my body just hurts this morning. So, Kylene, we're going to need a little extra yoga session today, please.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for everybody that jumped in here, Darren and Michelle, for sharing your gratitude. And Cindy says, good morning, popping over for a few. Aaron, I got my hard copy. Thank you very much. So you're welcome.
Awesome.
Around here somewhere. Todd says hot tubs make the snow more enjoyable. Yeah, there you
I
go.
will say we used ours a lot more in the wintertime. Yes.
There you go.
And they
There you
also
go.
help when you fall on the ice, because I think I've seen that he took a fall, which I'm sorry.
Yeah, that'll help ease those sore muscles for sure. And then my friend Glenn and Kylene, Glenn as well.
Yeah.
Good morning, checking in. So again, you guys, there's no cutoff for the gratitude part. You can share anytime you're watching the replay. Jump into the comments, share your gratitude. Again, the more we share our gratitude, the more of that we're going to attract, right? And when we talk about gratitude, we're talking about things that we're grateful for, not things that we're grateful that didn't happen, kind of thing, right? So if you're kind of grateful for the negative, guess what? You're going to get more of that negative, right? So it is this power of attraction that you have to understand. Come from that deep place of true gratitude, and then watch the changes that happen. If you're going, I express my gratitude every day, and it's kind of what I would call a backhanded gratitude, right? Yeah, guess what? It's not going to work all that well. So anyhow, sorry, got off on a tangent there, but that's important, I believe, because I think I started out that way, and I was like, this just doesn't work. This is silly, right? And well, guess what? I was always grateful for the things that I was trying to avoid, and that was what I was focusing on. So, anyhow. All right. So, anything else we need to cover here this morning before we get into those wellness super tools?
I just want to make a comment. Both
Please.
Becky and I watched The Secret last week, and we both plan on watching it again. I highly recommend to everybody. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Aaron made a backhanded comment about it during training for the goal getters. And I'm like, what is that? I've never heard of that. So, of course, I went and watched it. And yes, there's so much information in there that it needs to be rewatched over and over and over. So, and Aaron says at one point he thought he was saying it way too much. And I'm like, well, you haven't said it enough because I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what started us on this path, really. And I've watched it, I don't know how many times. I can still sit and watch it and get something from it every time.
I had to message Becky to make sure I had the right one, because it starts out kind of like a little dramatic, and I'm like,
well, and medievals and genies and stuff. And
yeah.
You're like,
So that
okay, well, we'll go with it.
It was super good.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can go on to wellness super tools now.
No, that's awesome. And I do want to, what Becky pointed out too, I think that's a really, here we go, just impromptu small business gem, right? You think that you're sharing too much, right? Guess what? You're not. And like I said, I was like, oh yeah, Kylene and I have watched The Secret so many times. I think there's a point where there's parts of it I can just recite. And, I talked about it all the time, and that's where we got started. That's where I kind of became attracted to Jack Canfield. And so just that, I think that's a really good reminder for all of us, things that you're passionate about, things that are important to you, just keep sharing them, because even though you might think that you're sharing it too much, you're not. Right. So that's a really good reminder. So thanks for that, Becky, and Tanya. Thanks for bringing that up.
Glenn had a comment there, Aaron.
Yeah. He said, I watched Unsinkable again by Sonita Ricotta. Okay. I haven't seen that one. Have we seen that one, Kylene?
I don't think we've seen that one. We're gonna have to add that one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wrote it down. That's why I was digging in my drawer for a Post-it note. And I don't like
I did
Post-it
also. Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn, I appreciate that. Yeah, Glenn is fantastic. If you guys have not, we'll get Glenn to post his website here, but he's
Awesome.
a Canfield trainer as well, and does a lot of stuff, EFT tapping professional. He's actually certified. And
Awesome.
Glenn, I'll get it wrong. The Honopia, I believe, the Hawaiian. Anyhow, so we'll let Glenn.
Yep, I can't say it either.
Okay. Cindy says that's a great tip. Never stop sharing. Yep. Yeah. If you're passionate about it, don't stop. Nobody's telling you to stop. So just keep going. So, all right, you guys, that is awesome. There we go. BelieveToSucceed.co is where you can go check out Glenn and what he does. And also very great with helping the veterans and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, Glenn, thank you guys. Wellness Super Tools. Tanya, you make the notes you need?
Yep.
See you working on it. Love
I
it.
don't remember otherwise.
Always growing, always learning. I love it. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Let's dive into the Wellness Super Tools here.
Hello again. I feel like we just had the best introduction ever for our topic today, which is the power of gratitude with journaling and some other tools. But first we have a grateful that we need to share. I'm grateful for the days getting longer with daylight. Oh, I couldn't agree more. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and just a little bit warmer weather has been fantastic. I mean, 26 felt like I could wear shorts, not really, but I was very happy to not have a dog limping into the store and to feel like I'm not going to freeze to death.
Most definitely. Yes. I agree 100%. Yeah. It makes a big difference. I just feel more energy coming from me. Yes. Yeah. So we want to talk about gratitude and the power of gratitude with journaling and some other tools so we can really use gratitude in our life. We talk about, sharing what we're grateful for, and we all know that's really powerful. But I wanted to start, I found this quote. You probably have heard it before, but I wanted to share it because I really think it sets the tone. It's by Oprah Winfrey, and it says, "Be thankful for what you have, and you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." And I think with everything that we share on here, that is really it. You can focus on all the problems and you're going to keep getting more negative feelings, more of the negative back. Whereas if we focus on, okay, there is a problem, there is a challenge. And if we focus on solutions and growing and appreciating this opportunity to learn in that moment, it's amazing what we can do for our business, for our life, and just everything. It really comes back to that law of attraction that we've been talking about this morning with gratitude. Like attracts like. So when you're grateful for the things that you have, you get more of that, right? And so that's why great journaling and these other tools that we're going to share are going to be really powerful today.
I so agree. And since I've been focusing more on choosing positive things, being grateful for things, even when things are hard, it has made a tremendous difference. And then watching The Secret last weekend, it really kind of honed that in. And I'm like, it's such a simple concept, but it's really a hard one because, we're in a society that can focus on what is lacking, what is wrong. And it's even more important to create the habits of gratitude in our life, to create an attitude of gratitude and truly use the law of attraction more, and then find the joy in your life. And when I found the joy in my life, I found that I do better. I plan. I'm not as lethargic, and it has made a tremendous difference for me.
Yeah. I'm glad that you shared that personal side to it, because it is really powerful. because we can be that inner critic, right? We can look for the challenges and critiquing ourselves. And well, that's okay. You know, we're human. We're going to do that. How long do you want to stay in that state of mind? Because that's just going to make everything that much more challenging. So why not choose these tools and gratitude to get yourself moving forward in a more positive direction? And it doesn't cost us any money. It's just our choice, right? Choose, to use your word, Tanya. This is just our choice if how we want to show up for ourselves in our business.
Yeah. And there's, so many tools that you can use to accomplish this. The choose board, choosing what you need as often as you need it. One of the things we're going to talk about today is the gratitude journaling, simply writing down everything you appreciate in your life. And if you do it first thing in the morning, which I need to get better at this part of life, my mornings, I seem to have jam-packed with all the things. It helps you to naturally focus on attracting more positive during the day. So I'm going to try really hard to accomplish that, even if I have to do it right before I get out of bed and not push that snooze button one more time.
Yeah. And then maybe to even help you, maybe you just go through in your mind what you're grateful for. And then when you get out of bed, you can just start to write down what you're grateful for. It helps set the tone for your day. It lifts your mood immediately. You just have a better outlook. You're more clear on where you're going because you're in a positive state of mind. You're not in that problem state of mind and everything is a crisis.
Yes, totally agree. And it also helps improve your mood. The act of acknowledging and appreciating positive aspects of your life, you naturally get that uplifted mood and increase overall happiness. And I've found that to be true as well. The act of just doing that. And I was having an issue getting up and going to the gym, but once I was there, I was great. And then for the rest of the day, once I was done with my workout, I was, even better. So you can do things that kind of compound one another and make your day a better day.
Yeah. And I think that right there is the power of it. I mean, you think about how everything is linked together and builds off each other. So do that for yourself, really set yourself up for success for your day. And then look how you can show up for yourself as you move through and all the things that you can accomplish. It is really powerful. And along with that, when you're moving in those right directions, it reduces your stress. And so we all want a little bit, stress is part of life, but we learn how to manage it and use it for the positive. It can really encourage more of a growth mindset, more optimistic and hopeful and all those other fun things that go along with it.
I so agree. I see the people in my daily life and in my social media life that are so stressed out, but they're also in that negative headspace all the time. And so they're not moving forward. And I try talking to them about it, not like preaching at them or whatever. Some of them get it and they turn it around. They're like, that really worked. And others, they're just not ready yet. So, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
With this, we want to make a conscious effort to appreciate 3 people a day. And it can be, just saying something to them, acknowledging them, giving them a shout out, sending them a text or writing them a little note. I find that has had the power to not only uplift me, but then it uplifts them. And then, it kind of has the, like what Kylene always says, it has a ripple effect. So do a little experiment with yourself and make it your goal to appreciate 3 people today and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a huge one for sure. The other thing that you could do to bring more gratitude into your life, a tool that could make it more of a habit for you to stay in that state of mind. And I think we've shared it a little bit on here, but it's the appreciation game or rampage of appreciation. It's looking for the good in all situations. I'm just going to give an example. Let's say you get a speeding ticket on your way to work or something like that. obviously we don't want that to happen. It's not a good thing. But what could you learn from that situation? How could you, that's a hard one, but you could be appreciative. Okay, I'm grateful that I have been called out, so I didn't actually hurt someone because I was driving too fast for this road or what conditions, whatever it might be. What can you learn from that and continue to grow and move forward versus the opposite approach? I can't believe I missed a target and they're always after me, like that mindset, which naturally we can go to, right? But it's choosing to focus on, okay, how can I learn from this experience and continue to move forward? Or just, like I look back at, the last year and with the passing of my dad, what can I learn from that difficult situation? Did I want that to happen? Of course not. Was it an easy situation? Absolutely not. But I can appreciate that we all came together. I can appreciate that I got to say goodbye. You can look for the good in all these situations, and that's the appreciation games that you can play with your life every day.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I know I've been making a better effort, and like I had to have a nerve block in my knee yesterday and it took me out for the day. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't exercise yesterday. I was kind of miserable, but it's going to make exercise and daily life easier from here on out. And then that made it easier to handle. I'm like, okay, I get a day of rest.
Yes.
instead of picking on myself. Another point is carry a physical token of gratitude. And I wish I could remember where I saw this or if it was on an MOS call. There was someone from a foreign land that was visiting and something about a rock being a sign of gratitude. And then he went back home and asked the person that he had been visiting to send him rocks. And he ended up selling gratitude rocks in his home area and raised money for a charity or something like that. And it was just a reminder to be gratitude. Oh, that was from The Secret. Okay, thank you.
I'm going through the whole thing as you're talking. I'm like,
yeah, I just see this. Where was it from?
Yeah.
And that part stuck with me. And I'm like, oh yeah, having something tangible. I'm all for the visual tools and the tangible tools. So I love that.
Yeah. So this is mine. I've gone through a couple. So it's just a little rock. This one broke, but I have another one. I keep it in my wallet. But I used to always have it in my pocket. So it's with you all the time. And then when you notice it's there, it's like that instant reminder. Okay. Yeah. I am grateful for this life that I have and this moment that I'm in, all that good stuff. Those physical reminders are huge. And it's just like your choose boards. It's just that it's in your face, right? It is telling you what you want out of your life as a reminder. So, yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is. The other thing is just appreciate the small things. Sometimes we've talked about this usually at the beginning of OSG Live, but the small things are most of the things that we have in our life. The everyday things is what really can create that magic for us. Appreciating, I have this comfortable chair. I have a cup of coffee. I have a nice pen that I like to use. It doesn't have to be, I made, so many dollars this year, while you should be grateful for that. But it's the everyday things in life that's part of the journey that you want to really appreciate. So just kind of just remembering that it's all part of the process and appreciating that.
And I've actually been doing that this morning. I got a new coffee tumbler and I love it. And I'm sitting here looking at Asia Grace, who is now my desk accessory. It's her perch now. And it just makes me happy because she's like right here. I know she's happy and it just makes my day better. Another thing is appreciate yourself. We don't appreciate ourselves enough. And I know for years I was horrible at that. I was so self-degrading. how we talk to ourselves matters. How our outlook on life, it really, really matters. And it goes back to that law of attraction from The Secret. If the words you feed yourself are going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so appreciate yourself. I've been much better at doing that, especially this month. I've been doing the Choose Challenge and the MOBA Challenge. And part of that is doing some affirmations and being grateful and things like that. And it has been amazing to keep that top of mind.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And appreciating yourself is part of that is that self-care and taking care of yourself and celebrating that you are showing up.
Yes.
And that's really huge. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of these little tools and little ways to incorporate gratitude more into your life. Oh, Aaron wrote, the idea of the person with no shoes finding gratitude when they meet a person with no feet. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. I mean, it really puts things in perspective for you very quickly. And we have so much to be grateful for, and it's our superpower. We can use it for good. And I think everyone here listening wants more positive feelings and more joy in their life, in their business, whatever they're working towards. So this is something that we can all use in our life. And remember, consistency really is the key. So set aside a few minutes, like Tanya said at the beginning, the first thing in the morning with your gratitude journaling. Set your day off in a positive track and just notice what happens for you.
Yep. And the last note, be specific. Instead of generic statements, dig down and really be specific about what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for this little fur ball who is asleep on my desk, and she just fills my heart with joy. I know that she's safe and well loved. It could be a small moment like that. It could be a gesture from someone. I know someone sending me a random DM or text always makes my day. It just lifts me up. And again, like Kylene says, consistency builds the habit and makes the snowball effect go even faster. So my wish for everyone is that you act on this. Get up tomorrow morning, actually start it today, and get up and start thinking about it and write it down and show some gestures of appreciation and just see where it gets you. And then report back to us and see if it worked for you or not, because I bet it's going to.
Yeah, most definitely. I couldn't agree with what Tanya just said. Try this out and let us know how it's impacted and changed your life. Please share that with us.
Well, this was a really good one. I think, we're so passionate about it, and you have really inspired me in this arena, and I just love it. So let's bring the rest of the Fab Four back and see what they have to say. Oh, do we have a promo first though? A short video?
We can run it real quick. Let's do that, and then we'll come right back.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I really would love to share yoga with anyone that wants to try a class. It's free. See what you think of it. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but try it out. We are doing chair yoga on Tuesday mornings now and gentle yoga on Thursday mornings. So if you wanted to try if you wanted to try the chair yoga, that is now available in the morning. So.
And is it starting on Tuesday? You're going to be on TikTok on one of the channels talking about yoga a little bit. I'm very excited about that. So if you are on TikTok, please follow Kylene at Rise, Shine, Smile.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Kylene likes to keep these things super secret, so
Yeah. Super
we
secret
always have-
yoga teacher.
yeah. Yeah, I love it. Well, good stuff, Becky. What are you mainly taking away? I mean, obviously, lots of things to take away, but what stood out the most to you in their conversation there?
I was just looking at, I had been using, I'm in search of the absolute perfect planner, which I don't know if it exists, but I'm going to continue my search. But what I was using before had a spot for that gratitude, for those, write down 3 things that you're grateful for and all that. And as I happen to look down, I'm like, oh, this planner doesn't have anything like that. So I'm going to make a change in my planner so that I start doing that on the one page. So I completely agree with all the things these girls have said, that changing that mindset, having that attitude of gratitude is amazing in how we handle ourselves and how we talk to ourselves. And it just makes a big difference in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Michelle says, I like sending random Snapchats.
I love getting Michelle's random Snapchats.
Dude, I got to get on Snapchat now, you guys. Come on. I don't need this.
I did not want to be on Snapchat, and it's okay now. I don't like that things disappear, but I enjoy it.
That's probably my biggest complaint too. It's we have a conversation or something, and then I go back to look for it and it's gone. And it's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, love it.
So.
And then Michelle says, I do journal and prayer every morning. So
Oh, awesome.
that's so important, right? Because like you were talking about just then, Becky, too, you list that out, right? And you have that space, and that's a great reminder for the day. But guess what? Now you also have that where I can go back, right? I've got a month's worth of, I've got a year's worth of, the 5 things I'm grateful for every day. And you can go back if you ever, like Kylene was talking about in that rampage of appreciation or whatever. What was the other term you used for that, Kylene?
The rampage of appreciation, or the appreciation game.
The appreciation game. Yeah. And a lot of times we lean on that tool because we are in a spot where we're having a hard time finding those positive feelings, or, a crummy thing, labeled crummy thing just happened to us. And, now you've got that tool that you've been creating every morning to go back to and start reminding you, yep, appreciate this, appreciate that, appreciate this. And because I guess the thing I'll say is what I talked about before you guys got started too, is I believe that it's so incredibly crucial to make sure that what you are being grateful for is what you're trying to attract, not the things, I'm grateful that this thing didn't happen to me, or, okay, I get that. But, and it's not about somebody else calling you out, or like, I love that. I love all those times when people share those things that, they appreciate that they didn't happen to them, or the weather's nicer. And so I appreciate that it's not cold anymore, and those things are all fine and dandy for the outside world, but that's not going to do you any good internally. Right. And so really, that it's about a deep gratitude is where the real change takes place. And it took me forever to learn that. So I guess I'm just sharing that for folks, because if I can save you a little time, you won't have to work so hard at it like I did. So, okay. All right. What else? Kylene, Tanya, what else should we be thinking about there? Or are we, yeah.
I mean, I think, oh, go ahead, Tanya.
No, but I was just saying, I think that we've kind of covered it all, but you go.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted just to add as you were talking there, Aaron, was just using gratitude can sometimes be a crutch and holding yourself back, meaning I should be grateful for what I already have. And therefore, you don't believe that you're worth more to go for more, And so when I first heard someone say that, it just kind of blew my mind. So it's something to keep in the back of your mind. Like, you still want to dream big, and you still want to ask the universe for what you want, and be clear about that, because you are worth it. And you do have that thought for a reason. But don't settle and just be grateful. I'm grateful that I have this. It's okay to want more. That doesn't make you not grateful. I guess that's the kind of probably a whole show topic to focus on, but I just wanted to bring that side of this up.
Love it.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah, definitely see a future wellness toolbox in our in our world there. So good stuff. All right. Well, shall we dive into some uncommon mindset here, you guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right. Well, welcome back to our uncommon mindset here. And Becky, we are in our 4th week of the content. So if we're doing the workshop, which will be happening soon, stay tuned for that information. But this would be the 4th week of that workshop. And we want to share with you guys some ideas about time optimization. And not the other way around. I'm optimist time, meaning I think I can get more done than in a very small window of time. So it's the other way, but time optimization. So in the workshop, we're going to provide strategies and tools so we can kind of master the clock, commit to constant and never-ending improvement, create a personal blueprint. You talked about the planner and that kind of idea, right? There is not a perfect one for everyone out there. And so we have to kind of create it, as you mentioned. And you're always on the search for it. I've been on the search for it since I was in my early 20s, and I'm a little further away from that right now than I'd like to be. But
me too.
Yeah. But there's still time. So that's awesome. So creating a personal blueprint, master planning strategies, and then just ultimately building positive habits, especially around the use of our time. And all of those things kind of combine together to allow us to really optimize the time that we have available to us. And so, Becky, today, we've got a limited amount of time. What areas do you think we should cover to kind of give the listeners the most value in a short amount of time?
Well, we're going to pack a lot into this one, so we're going to probably do it fairly fast. So be prepared. But I went with commit to constant and never-ending improvement and building positive habits. To me, those two just kind of go hand in hand. And honestly, it just stair steps right along with some of what Tanya and Kylene were talking about also. So
yeah. You're right. We are going to pack a ton into today as best we can. And sorry, I was distracted by a couple of things. My son's leaving for school, and then Darren and Todd are talking about my optimist time, being a transformer. Yes. All right. Well, Becky, as usual, you were right on. I think those two things will give us the most bang for the buck, and I think we can cover that. We'll do our best here and optimize the time we have available here. So when we're talking about these concepts, these things are going to be, well, I guess this idea of constant never-ending improvement is where I think we should start. And from that space, I think a lot of people can feel a little bit overwhelmed by it, right? So we just completed the 2nd week of the Goal Getters training. We've got a follow-up meeting coming up in February, but for most of the training part, we're done. And a big part that we talked about in that kind of implementation part at the end of it was talking about the fact that the rent is due daily when it comes to our success, right? It's a quote out of a book. I think it's Take the Stairs. The gentleman's name is Rory Vaden, and he says, success is only rented, and the rent is due every day. And so I think that initially, at least for me, it was really heavy. It was like, wow, every day, right? Constant, never-ending improvement. Those things can start to feel heavy, but I think there's a different mindset that we need to take from that. Becky, what are your thoughts there?
Well, and I agree, because that, when you hear those words, constant, never ending, I mean, it's the never ending journey without reaching goals, However, with our uncommon mindset, we are going to focus on the end results. What you're going to find joy in the daily process of getting better. You're going to celebrate the improvements that you make every day, and be content in that progress itself, recognizing in the knowledge and learning gained along the journey. Those are lasting achievements worth celebrating. even the results can change, as you go. Things can change, and what you're focusing on will change. But the value is the ongoing growth and the development that you're going to get as you go, as opposed to fixating on final outcomes. And I think you have an example for us about striving for the improvements and the focus on the process for being rewarding.
Yeah, I do. And but before I go there too, actually though, interestingly enough, I was listening to a podcast last night, and I wrote down. In fact, I was driving, so I handed my phone to my son, and I said, "Hey, write this note down for me in my note app." And so I appreciate him doing that for me, which also was great because then he was reading like, "Oh, what about this?" And we started talking about some of the other stuff in there, but and I think it is so important to understand that, when you're focused on that result, when you're focused on that end point, it is very heavy, right? It is very challenging. So the quote that I wanted to share with folks they said, success is a great outcome, but a terrible intention. Right. And I was like, wow, that kind of seemed pretty cool, pretty kind of great way to think about this, right? If I'm always just focused on the success and that's my intention, I'm successful. No. That's a great outcome. That's a byproduct of the process, of the effort that you're putting in. It's not the intention. So, and like I said, I've got a quick story. This came from an early on in my sales career, which I always kind of giggle a little bit about the fact that I say sales career, because I will fully admit that I was always a very terrible salesperson, as you would think of a traditional salesperson. I just figured out other ways. I committed to constant, never-ending improvement. So the story is, I was a young salesperson. I was selling labels from a printing company, and I was kind of focused on the process. The process was make a certain number of calls every day. And by the time you got told no, I think it was 10 times, if I remember correctly. By the time I got told no 10 times, then I was done for the day. Right. And that was the process. And I tried to get better at it every day. I wasn't just out trying to get no's, but I was trying to kind of understand that if I just am persistent and keep going, things will happen. And I was sitting there one afternoon. It was kind of a day where I was like, man, I really want to be done. I only had a couple more quote unquote no's left to go on my list for the day. And so I called somebody that I'd been calling for months and pretty much was a guaranteed no. Right. I'd even kind of settled on the fact that, like, most people go, this is really a waste of your time, Aaron, so just don't do it. But I'm like, hey, it's going to get me closer to where I can be done for the day. And so I called them, and it was a candy company. And this was in Colorado Springs, and the candy company's name is Patsy's Candies. And I called, usual kind of like, okay, hey, I'm just calling to see if I can help in any way, just sharing anything. I normally tried to like find something going on in the news about them to kind of like use as an icebreaker to hopefully get through, to see if I could like talk to somebody about that. And I didn't have to get into that story. All of a sudden, I called, the receptionist answered, and she said, and what's your name again? Aaron from On Demand Services? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm like, what? Like, she knew who I was. And off I went into the call, and the guy said, yep, come on over. And I said, whoa, okay. So I rush over to this candy company. Not bad going into a candy company. Rushed over to this candy company, and the guy's like walking me through the place like I've got the job. I haven't even like really given him my quote unquote pitch. And he's just walking me through, okay, here's all we do this. We need labels for this, and this. And then we get back to his office, and he basically pushes a blank PO in front of me and says, can you guys do this? I looked at it. Absolutely. As I'm looking at it inside, I'm kind of going, oh my gosh, this is like order. This will probably be bigger than all of the rest of the orders I've gotten this month combined, right? That's how big this order was. And this was a weekly order. So I was like inside, I'm doing the happy dance, but I'm trying to, stay like, professional on the outside. And so finally I got up the nerve to just ask him that, so why after, I've been calling you for 6 months, why after 6 months am I finally here? And I'm super excited to do business with you, but I just want to know, so that way, I can be helpful in the future. And he says, well, just come with me. I want to show you. So he walks me back to the shipping area. He slaps a box of C's candies down in front of me. and says, yeah, I just got this Christmas gift from your competitor that I've been doing business with for 10 years. And it was from his number one competitor, C's Candies. And so he says, I was ready for a change. Right. And so anyhow, that wouldn't have happened if I was just focused on getting the order all the time. That wouldn't have happened if I was just focused on, because it took, right. I had to be memorable enough for him to tell his receptionist, next time Aaron calls, put him through. Right. And so that comes from this constant and never ending improvement. And so that's what the focus was. And so I think from that story, right, what I hope people might take away from that is that obviously persistence, but the other side of it is there's no right or wrong way to be in the world. It's just what works for you. As I said, if I were to look at myself as a traditional salesperson that was, inspiring people to, do business with me because that wasn't me. Persistence was what my way of the world was. It kind of just showing up every time, so whoever you are and whatever your personal characteristics are, that's perfect. Right. So if you're shy, you can still be successful, right? You can still create a following on social media. Right? If you talk a lot, or whatever, whoever you are, you can like sports, you can like music, you can be, whatever the qualities that make you uniquely you, that will be perfect for you reaching success. But we just have to understand that leaning too much into this label of who we are and relying on those things and then start using them as justifications for why we're not successful, right? Because those same qualities might be things that that are holding you back. So however you take action is perfectly fine, but you have to learn to get a little uncomfortable. And that's what constant never ending improvement's all about. It's not about getting way outside of your comfort zone and going from, 0 to 1,000,000 miles an hour in this amount of time, right? Going from I would never do a live video to I'm hosting my own every day for a year, right? You can lean into that, but you have to learn to be uncomfortable. And so just whatever works for you, as long as you push that comfort zone. And I always say this, and I borrowed this from my friend Shad, we have to have a bias towards action, right? And so again, for me and my candy company story, it was always making the calls, always taking action, always trying to learn how I could do better the next time. Right. So we do have to commit to those daily actions and then further commit to reviewing those actions and that kind of review of the results. Right. That's the only reason in my mind that reviewing the results is important for us. It's not about focusing on that all the time. The results just help us understand if we're on the right path. So I think that's that part that's really hard for us to not settle into that. Right. And use the constant and never ending improvement. So, I think I've hit it pretty good, but just kind of realizing that we don't want to focus on the destination, but focus on the process. And so I had to, I guess, kind of finally realize that it was perfectly fine to celebrate and be okay with where I was at and still be focused on constant and never ending improvement. So
great.
Yeah. Go ahead, Becky, help me move this thing forward here.
Well, I just happened to see I got sidetracked on the shiny objects with Michelle's comment here about
nice. I love it.
My word for 24 is action, as a reminder that I need to get outside of my comfort zone and do something every day to reach my goals. Yeah. And I love that. That's an awesome word for this year. And you talking about doing podcasts and stuff, not jumping into doing it every day. But, it took Tanya leaning on me for probably about a year and a half. Yeah. And here I'm still, every Wednesday I'm good. I'm getting there. Yeah. But yet, I'm not going to just go live by myself a lot of times because that's just, I'm just not there yet.
Yeah. And that's totally okay. I mean, that I think that is so important that you share that with folks and giving them that, because it isn't about, right, again, going from 0 to 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's about how can you lean into it? So like public speaking for me was a big challenge for a long time. And now I speak all the time. I mean, I'm probably going to speak at least 10 or 11 times this year out in front of people, which, that's like the number one fear for most people in the world. Great. And I was there. And so I didn't just all of a sudden go, okay, I'm just going to go do it. No, I leaned into it. I found somebody that I looked up to as somebody who really knew what the heck they were doing. At least I thought, and it came out to be true. And I said, hey, Terry, my buddy that I do tour your guys with, I'm like, hey, I want to get into this, but I don't really know how to do it. You think we can maybe like try to do a seminar together or something like that? And,
Right.
you know, or I started a podcast where it was just audio and we were just, you know, kind of on the phone or into a microphone. So that was a lot easier way to start. Right.
Right.
So there's all sorts of ways to lean into the comfort zone there. So,
And I agree, because tonight I go and do my first teaching of a knitting class.
yes. I'm
So
super excited.
we
about
have,
that, by
I
the way.
believe we have 17 there. So it's what I can still consider a small group. So I'm,
There you go. I love it.
it's going to be great. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, we're getting sidetracked and we're going to run out of time, but there's 3 questions that you can ask yourself for the committed to constant, never ending improvement. And they are, how can I make this better? How can I do it more efficiently? And how can I provide more value to more people? To optimize your time, we also focus on building positive habits. So to start ensuring your motivation, your energy, and your work environment need to be tailored to your needs. Be intentional about making those positive changes for success. Like we said, progress gradually. We're not just going to totally jump into, you know, an everyday, all day type thing.
Yeah.
And then in today's instant gratification world, you know, avoid comparing yourself to the social media highlights. How often do we, you know, flip through and see, oh, somebody's doing way better? You know, you just have to embrace the journey, you know, strive to love what you're doing daily. That's what Aaron's here to do, help us do. We're all here to help you do, love your business, and just make it a part of who you are.
Yeah. It is so crucial. Right. And, you know, another quick story, I'll be much quicker this time, but, the book, right. The writing of my book is an illustration of this, right. I initially had write on my task list for a long time, and that was easy to move. Right. And so I had to review, I had to kind of go, okay, what, right. That I wasn't getting closer to the end goal of achieving writing the book. So I had to make a change. I had to review. I had to adjust. Right. And so the next adjustment was actually putting it on the schedule. Right. And I'd schedule it in there, and I'd make it a little bit more focused in there. Okay. Well, yeah. And then I actually put it on a daily. And then so I just changed it. I said a daily 15-minute writing block. Right. And so it was about looking and reviewing and then creating positive habits, which transformed the daily practice and from that to-do list into a recurring appointment on my calendar. And that was it. It was just 15 minutes a day. So some days I managed to write, but some days I you know, didn't do so well. Right. I mean, there were several ways I certainly could have done it. I could have actually said, you know what, I'm going to just lock myself away for 2 weeks, you know, go to some remote location, right? You hear these stories about these writers and their writers retreats. And I love that, right? There's something to be said about that, but would that be right for me? Probably not. Right. I've got a busy life. I've got a family. I've got a business we're trying to continue to run and grow. And I have various other interests like coach volleyball and stuff like that. So to be able to do that, I don't think I could have. So I found what worked for me. Right. And so when you're out there listening to people and the tools, take the parts that work for you. So I guess, Becky, let's kind of start wrapping this up with maybe closing on a kind of some strategies here.
Yep. See if we have, I think you had a strategy for us to show. Sorry, I got sidetracked with a teacher message. So I lost my place and everything.
Yeah,
so,
that's what happens.
I think you had a tool for us to use for implementing.
Yeah, I'd love for us to share something here. And so I guess I talked about the time blocking. I think that's a tool. So I kind of already gave you one, but I think the number one way I've found to optimize my time is through priority management, right? And you guys have probably heard me say this before, but nobody has a time management problem. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So it's not about time management. It's completely about priority management. So for me, there's 2 elements to this optimization of my priority management. You know, so first and foremost, the best way that I've found to really kind of understand how I'm prioritizing, you know, making the most important thing is that periodically I will do a time study. So if you've never done a time study, I implore you to give it a try. It's not that difficult. It's not this huge, challenging, crazy thing. Keep track of the tasks that you do and when you switch and how much time they take. You know, I use a tool called Toggl, Toggl, and you can just push a button. And when you start that task, and when you're done with it, hit the button. It's also on my phone, so I can do the same thing on my phone, right? And then at the end of it, then I can come back and I can look and go, okay, I thought I was going to take an hour to do this, but that actually took me 6 hours, right? I thought I was really focused and was really productive that day, but I sat on the couch for X amount of hours, right? So just doing a quick time study. I like to do it for a 2-week period, so you kind of get all the ebbs and flows. But the reality is, just do it for a day to start and see what that day looks like. And because from that place, then you have an honest understanding of how you're using your time, not what you want it to be, not what you think it should be, not what you're hoping for, but an honest assessment. And from that honest assessment, then we can create change. And so from there, then we need to create a better system. And so the second element is kind of a regular review of my to-do list. So I use a project management tool called Asana. Trello is another one that's pretty popular. I know Becky used that. I think Michelle's a pretty big Trello user. Becky's trying to make me a Trello user. I'm doing my best. Yeah, I think it works really well, but I still use Asana for my task management. And so what I do is when a new task comes along, if it's not something that's got to be crucially done that week, and it's just kind of a project I want to get to, then I put it as the due date for a Sunday in the future. Right. So maybe it's this upcoming Sunday, maybe it's the couple Sundays down the road, whatever that is. And from there, then each Sunday, I go and review all the tasks on that day. And I use kind of a combination, but I'm going to put it up on screen here. So from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, this is the 4 quadrants, right? And you say manage, focus, avoid, limit, right? And so the quadrant number 1 are short-term kind of crisis problems, the important and urgent. A lot of times these are tasks that somebody else gives you that you've accepted. Number 2 are the long-term strategic goals. These are the things that typically are your number 1 priorities that are going to get you closer to your goal, but they're typically the easiest to push off because they're not urgent, quote unquote, right? And then the distractions, the interruptions, urgent but not important, maybe tasks that people are putting in front of you that you need to say no to, right? Those could be that. And then the time waster activities, not important and not urgent. Now, I'm not saying you have to get rid of all of those things and out of any quadrant, but you need to limit those things. Maybe just use that as a reward or a recharge, right? But taking and understanding those priorities. And then I set that up and go, okay, what things am I going to accomplish this week? And so I'll move that from the Sunday date to whatever date during the upcoming week that I'm going to try to take care of that based on my calendar. And then from there, if I don't do it, if that doesn't still make it on that Sunday, I move it to another Sunday. And once I've moved it 5 times, I take it off the list completely. I don't delete it. I just remove the date. And then at the end of the year, I go through all of the list of things that doesn't have a date on it. And then I actually then delete things if it's like, yeah, that doesn't need it to be done. A lot of times I realize that I actually completed it in another way and I found another way to get there. So, that's kind of my strategy, Becky. That's my quick tip. What's worked for you?
Well, I have used the time blocking stuff, but when I've used it, we've paired it with the co-working. So Aaron and I have set up, we've had other people that have joined us too, but we set up a scheduled meeting. We jump on Zoom and we, quick say, okay, I'm going to work on this project. What are you working on? And then, we don't always shut the cameras off, but we shut our mics off and we spend, say an hour on that task. And you're just super focused because in an hour, you're going to have to report back and say what you got done or didn't get done because you were either really focused or you were not paying attention and not doing what you were supposed to do. So that has helped a lot. We haven't done that now again for a little while. I think our schedules just haven't meshed as well as whatever. But having that other person, that accountability side of it to check in has helped a lot for me.
Yeah. And so this is the other real quick part before we get the others back in here, the Fab Four back in to talk about this is, right. So you got to figure out, that's where the constant never ending improvement comes in. Right. So, I'm not picking on Becky here per se, but if that, co-working thing works, right, then you have to take that responsibility on, right. And figure it out. Right. So I know for me, I've set up when I was really trying to get some big projects done. And I'm looking at myself going, I need to set that up. and be okay with it. I set up lots of co-working times where it was me sitting there by myself, it just didn't mesh with other people's schedule. Right. So, and going back to my story, I don't get that Sunday thing done every time. And when I don't, guess what happens? My time's not optimized. So it does come down to us focusing and doing what, not waiting for somebody else, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. So really, really good stuff. Becky, awesome. Let's do a quick word about our success group, and then we will get Tanya and Kylene back in here. And I know we're into bonus time, but we can do this. We got this.
As a small business owner, the journey can often feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're overworked, underappreciated, and alone. At our success group, we guide you to uncover the fundamentals necessary for success and lead you to fall in love with your business. We provide the foundational support and guide you towards a business that you love, not just a job that you dread. With OSG, we tackle aligning your business with your reason or purpose, defining a pricing strategy tailor-made for your business, and pave the way for you to identify your ideal customer. This is just scratching the surface. The mindset shift we provide is the game changer. We're here to support you every step of the way. Take a chance on yourself, trust in your potential, and let OSG guide your first steps towards lasting fulfillment. Go to osg.link/try-OSG.
All right, there we go. So thank you for the patience. Becky, it's on me. We should not try to tackle two things. I need to, that's on me. So I will take full responsibility. But thank you, Kylene and Tanya. What's your guys' quick take on this stuff? And Kylene, I know you've got to run, so maybe you could, and maybe Tanya does too. Sorry.
Well, wow, you guys, that was pretty awesome. I have 2 pages of notes, even though I've heard a lot of this stuff. Like, it's really good to hear it again and just really understand the power of it. The constant, never-ending improvement is a really good reminder. And that it's okay to be uncomfortable. My favorite quote by Jack Canfield is, "Everything you want is on the other side of fear." And I come back to that a lot of times when I'm hesitant, when that fear shows up and I am uncomfortable. I have to realize usually that's a sign that I should probably keep going, right? So remembering that constant, never-ending improvement side of things is really powerful, and it's all part of the growth. So for me, that stood out from what you guys were saying.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
A reminder for me that the time blocking has worked for me in the past. And I need to get back to that and my fun 5 in the morning and not let the shiny things take over my life and some of the other things I'm going to try as well. So great segment.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Becky, your reminder about the co-working thing, such a great reminder. Yeah, like I said, I need to step that up too. So, all right.
My problem with setting it up for myself is the fact that I don't want to interrupt anybody else's stuff. Bye, Cora.
Bye, Cora.
Bye, Cora.
Bye.
I don't want to bother other people, so I just take care of it. So it's hard for me to reach out and say, "Hey, I'm going to do this co-working time." I just set it up and I'm going to do it, type of thing. So I need to remember too that other people need it, and if I set it up, that things will happen. So
yeah, I love that about you, Becky, that you think that way, and that's what makes you uniquely you, right? That's what we kind of talked about there, right? And I guess where I kind of go with it is I kind of put it out there and I go, you know what, they can say no if they want to, right? But again, that's a really hard thing to overcome. Sometimes I do feel like a bit of a jerk when I'm assuming too much, right? I'm feel like I'm making assumptions. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. We got a couple of comments.
Shiny things all over the place today.
Yeah, hey, that's part of doing that in the morning. Yeah, right. Everything going on. I'm guilty of never asking for help. Right. So thank you, Betty, for sharing that and standing up. I think we can all raise our hands for that. In fact, sorry, I know we got, but there's a commercial that I've been seeing from the VA, actually, Kylene. I don't know if you've seen it on TV, where they're talking to veterans about, that they ask them, have you helped a fellow veteran, that kind of thing. And then they go, have you ever asked for help? And you can just see it in them. They all kind of go, oh, yeah, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I feel like I should be able to take care of it myself, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's just encouraging people to ask for help. And I think that's an important reminder. So sorry.
Yeah, it's not a weakness, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a strength.
Yep. All right. Well, Tanya, shall we put this thing on ice here?
We should. For those of you that have been here, you'll know this drill, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. I stands for Inspire, Collaborate, and Encourage, and it is kind of like my love language. I love Inspire, Collaborate, and Encourage, and that has brought about choose. So today I choose consistent effort. And try not to let the shiny things take over my life.
Yeah.
What do you choose today, and what do you choose for this week? It is a very powerful tool. You can choose what you need as often as you need it. You can do this any number of ways. Just do it in your head, write it down. I do have the choose boards on the web store, as well as affirmation shirts, visual tools, and I will be adding more as time goes on. So it's a perfect way to have a tangible reminder of what you are choosing. Mine sits on my desk or behind me so that I'm seeing it as I'm coming and going from my desk, and it really helps. It really does help. So
Love it.
Love it.
What do you each choose? Kylene, I know you need to get going, so I'll pick on you.
I'm going to share mine. So I have a lot on mine, but I put energy, faith, joy, hope, truth, clarity, and abundance. I don't know why yesterday when I was doing this, all those words just came out on my board, and I'm going to keep it there this week. It just really is powerful for me.
I love
Perfect.
that. Love that you added them all. Cora helped decorate mine again. So I have that I'm choosing community as I go out to teach tonight. And Cora has on there that she's choosing loving. So
awesome.
I love that she does that, and I will get her board done this week.
All right. Hey, can we just take a quick moment and give Becky a round of applause, please? By the way, this is exciting stuff. So having the class tonight. So if you guys would also just send Becky some words of encouragement, and she's going to be great tonight, and I'm excited for her. So
I am looking forward to it. It will be fun. So
awesome. Thank you, Becky. All right. So today I choose joy and focus on. I love that. What don't you do, Tanya? I love it. True. But you know what? That's Tanya's superpower. She manages it all, right? And
I manage the chaos.
Yep.
Some days better than others.
Yeah. Michelle says today I choose joy and focus. Yay, Becky. Congratulations, Becky. All right. So mine, let's see if I can get it into focus. It says focused. Yes.
Yay.
I think we're all in the same boat, right? The shiny objects are great. And the more abundance and the more joy and gratitude we put out there, the more opportunities that show up. But sometimes you got to get that under control too. So for sure. All right. Kylene, do you need to scoot just over to the next desk, right?
Yep, I do. Okay? I have everything up and running, so I do need to take off. But I just want to thank you guys all for joining us today with OSG Live. This was a great episode. I'll probably rewatch it here again, and I leave here feeling very inspired. So if you guys want to hear from it, have us talk about anything specific, please reach out to us. Give us any feedback you have. We're open. We're growing too and learning what works and what doesn't work. So please just reach out to us.
Yeah, love it. All right, Becky, any closing thoughts?
I just want you guys to all have a great week. I will report back on how my teaching went. Actually, we'll have 2 done by the time we come back next week, because I have another one on Tuesday.
Nice.
So
yeah, awesome.
So that will be fantastic. And this was a great show. I lots of great information from both segments out there. So
yeah, love it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week. Same place. We'll be back here.
Have a good one.